Welcome to the number one Bengals podcast. I'm your host, Daddy McDuke. I'm joined as always by Dr. Hoji the Electric Smoji.
Yeah.
And John Andy Williams Sheeran.
A lesser known crooner, but a crooner nonetheless.
Well, for this season.
Most wonderful time of year guy, I think. Yeah.
That's right.
And so, guys, first of all, I want to talk about Brinks.tv, which we have so much to talk about, which, first of all,
everything okay, Daddy-O? Seems like the concussion hit kind of hard today.
Why don't you guys start? I have to turn the mute something real quick.
All right.
Courtney, can you take me out of the shot for a second?
He was overwhelmed.
Yeah, he's probably got to sell something, or it has something to do with moral corruption. I don't know what it is, but he's making money somehow by being muted.
You would think that you would take 30 minutes off of that, you know?
You would think. But how you doing, John?
You know, man, when are the Bengals going to stop letting average 49ers quarterbacks drive on them to win the game? It feels like this is a 40-year theme. I know we're not talking about the game yet, but that's kind of on my mind right now.
It is, yeah. Now, wait, would you count?
Guys.
Were you talking about Joe Montana there, or?
Well, yeah, he's the first.
But he was pretty awesome, I thought.
Eh.
Really, we made
guys,
him look
okay,
awesome.
I figured out the technical difficulty. So Brinks.tv, real quick, we want to tell you to go to Brinks.tv. You can win a lot of different things by guessing a lot of different things. And they have some fantastic material. And Courtney, I know you're excited about this one, which is, hold on, the new show is called What's the Rush? And it is about the life and times of, obviously, the great Rush Limbaugh. I think Courtney was the producer
This sounds like
for
a lie.
that award-winning show.
Poor Courtney.
Did these
Rush
sound
Limbaugh's-
right to you when you say them?
He's bringing you into his.
He's really just giving us his pitch deck, is what he's doing.
And
he's drawing you into his fascist fantasies.
I mean, Courtney knows better than I do, but he's a 5-time Macaroni Award winner.
Nope, there
and
is no
he's
Macaroni
in the
Award.
NBA Broadcasting Hall of Fame.
Nope, it's not NBA. It's
And he
NAB.
won the President's Medal, which is fantastic and amazing.
It means
and it
nothing.
leads me to the next part of Brinks.tv, which is that Rush was also, he wasn't on the show. I think he's not with us anymore. But he was the honorary guest on the Ray Lewis show.
That doesn't even sound true. No.
Because President Medal. But
Look,
but-
you would have won the President Medal, honestly. That's how meaningless they are. I'm sure if things would have kept going.
He's
this
looking
way.
up at us, talking about him posthumously.
But
I will
look,
not speak ill of the dead.
No, but look, Courtney. But I want to be serious for a second. We do have the Shields, the NFL Shields show, right?
Yes, Inside the Shield with Pro Football Moms.
With Pro Football Moms, hosted by
Alicia Jarrett.
Alicia Jarrett, and we talked about how her upcoming guest, is DJ Reader's mom, Felicia Reader, and which is fantastic. And the most recent guest was Colin Farrell's mom, whose name was
Sounds
Celicia.
wrong.
No,
Is this
Miss
wrong?
Faye. Yeah,
Farrell?
Cleveland Farrell's mom.
Oh, okay.
I'll
I
let you
thought
give
the
Daddy on
Isha-
that one. That one's not too easy.
Colin Farrell is the Irish actor and stud muffin.
Well, yes, but the mom, you're saying her name doesn't end with Isha. You're saying no. Okay, so this is the first time in the history of the show, because I think the previous week you had, what was it? It was like Propecia Rogers, I think, was on the show, and a lot of interesting. But look, it's a great show about moms, very overprotective moms.
Take your pills before the show, not after.
Okay, but look, I have a real announcement here. I have a real announcement about the real sponsor. And you guys aren't going to believe this. So the Cincinnati Bengals have this sponsor. And then immediately after going to the Bengals, these guys, I looked at my emails for months. They've been contacting us. and I thought it was a spam, but this is legit. Low 6 Bengals Picks. So what does that mean? Basically, you can go to their app and you can choose different Bengals things. Like, for instance, I think one of the questions you can answer is, how many people will Joe Burrow make swoon in the next game? And so you put your football knowledge to the test, and you predict Bengals game outcomes in the new free-to-play Bengals Picks. You submit your selections by kickoff and watch the keyboard as you compete with other fans for a chance to win fantastic Bengal prize, including game ticket and signed merch. But listen to this. That's not all. You use the link in the description, and you can see it right there, bengalspicks.app.link/DHS. And that is going to be in the description for the YouTube show and the podcast. And feel free to adapt the copy however it suits above.
No, stop reading. Stop reading. Stop reading.
Questions are live in game from Tuesday. So add questions for upcoming game.
Stop
to
reading.
Make a lot of money.
He's going to read his social security if he's not careful.
So guys, it says something about description about the graphic too, but I don't have time for that. Look, I want everybody to go there, make your Bengals picks. I made my picks, and I think I got about 5 or 10% of them right. Of course, it seems like I was a little too positive about the Bengals. The over-under on Joe Burrow's passing yards, I picked 6,000. But you can go. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. And I'm serious. It's free to play. You will win jerseys.
It's a big honor that they went with our show for this. I don't know if people know that. That's a big honor. They picked our show. Talk about picks.
Right. So, okay, let us talk some football.
49ers.
And we had a bit of an interesting situation. So the Bengals, the whole game, they were fumbling and bumbling and dropping punt returns and other balls. It was just very strange, John. I have no idea what was going on. But the whole team had trouble holding on to the ball. And it seemed like everybody knew. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if I can, I know you got the did Zach crack thing, so I'm not going to talk about if Zach cracked. I guess that's the field goal. Is that when we get to talk about that? Is then the next thing is to talk about the field goal decision in overtime. Fine. But forget the field goal in overtime. What happened up until then? I mean, the deficit that the Bengals were trying to overcome, and they overcame, and Joe Burrow was saving the day, all of that was because of really bad plays. There were 2 or 3, I think there were 3 kick returns that were dropped, if I'm not mistaken. There was interception that was dropped. There was messiness all around. What is up with this team, and who do we blame? When a team lacks this kind of ball handling discipline, John, who is to blame? Because I've asked people on Twitter, and they said the position coaches. Well, tell them to get their act together, because honestly, if the Bengals if they did not make those mistakes, the Bengals had this game in the bag. They were the better offense, and the defense was pretty good too. That's my thinking. But I want to hear John's input on this topic. John?
Is it strange that these things keep happening, or is this just who they are? Because last week, a lot of things were crazy that were happening last week, and we kind of blew it off as just a crazy week. But then they keep killing themselves. They keep shooting themselves in the foot. And people want to blame coaching because when you have talented players making mistakes, you automatically put that on a lack of discipline or just bad coaching. But honestly, what are the coaches supposed to do when they're putting these guys in situations and they're not even doing the bare minimum? There's no excuse for Jesse Bates to drop the interception. There's no excuse for Darius Phillips to muff not 1, but 2 punts. There's no excuse for some of these things that are killing this team and putting them in these deficits. And I understand the grief of the coaching, but...
John, but go ahead.
Let him finish.
I just wanted to say, John, go ahead. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
John, stop talking.
At a certain point, this is your identity. At a certain point, this is just who you are.
But it doesn't make sense, John.
If every other AFC team is blowing it, why can't the Bengals be included in that fraudulent group?
But
John,
why do they all have the same problem? How is it possible that the whole team of people has the same problem?
John wants to say it's not coaching. John, have you heard of Bill Parcells?
I have.
Because Bill Parcells, yes, his whole thing with the special teams and who made the team and who got to play and all that kind of a stuff was the discipline. And, if someone dropped a punt, or whatever, he wouldn't see the field again. And he
benched
sent a
Darius
message.
Phillips. They had to. They did that. Like not a lot
After
of coaches
two fumbles?
Not a lot of coaches. Not a lot of not a lot of coaches
Right.
would have benched Darius Phillips after the first one, honestly, because they had no depth behind him. They had to put in
Bill
Tyler
Parcells
Boyd
would
back
have.
there. No, he wouldn't have. He would not have if under that situation. Darius Phillips is only playing in this game because they had to have another cornerback because Trey Waynes wasn't healthy enough to play in this game. There was a lot of factors that went into this, and it's not on the coaches for Darius Phillips muffing that punt right there. Like
And
they had
who
no
have
choice but
running
to pull him
backs,
after
we
the
have-
second one.
And who would think that he would do it again? I mean, no coach thinks, oh, if I put Darius Phillips out there, he's going to do the exact same thing again. No one thinks that.
I'm just saying.
Look, I
I'm
mean,
just
there's no-
saying, setting the tone and the culture is on the coach, John. And maybe the coach, maybe their hands are cold from playing outdoors and practicing outdoors. Maybe they don't do as many individual drills. I don't know. There's something going on where their hands are not as ready for the game. Maybe they don't have the real authentic NFL gloves. Maybe they have the cheaper knockoffs. John, there's so many different things that we want you to explore.
Dude, Darius Phillips had not muffed a punt since 2018. He did it once, and people want to use hindsight to say that they should have benched him after the first one. What is wrong with giving him another chance to prove himself? Obviously, it didn't work out, and it bit him in the butt, but because, there was a benefit of the doubt factor there. Like, that was something that he'd never done before or hadn't done since he was a rookie.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
but
know.
you were saying-
This hindsight thing is weird.
But you mentioned Jesse Bates. It wasn't just Darius. Let's be fair. A lot of fumbles, a lot of balls bouncing around. The previous week, Joe Mixon had an uncharacteristic fumble, right? What's going on, John, with this team? Are they feeling the pressure? Is it nerves?
There's probably some of that too. I think we collectively look at players who are talented and who are capable of doing great things, and we assume that is just the standard. It's just stable. It's always going to happen. We forget that some of these guys probably aren't as good as we prop them up to be, and that they make mistakes. Unfortunately, they make too many mistakes against crucial opponents, and they can't find a way to dig out of those holes that they create for themselves. Honestly, I think it's just players just making mistakes and not being as good as we think that they are.
Okay. Well, let us talk about coaching again.
So-
With Zach Crack, because now fans are gobsmacked, John.
Fans are gobsmacked. They should be gobsmacked. Look, here's the thing. I don't care if Zach cracked. You want to know why? Because this team, back-to-back 2 weeks, came back from a deficit. Why do you not give the head coach any credit?
That was Joe Burrow.
It doesn't make sense to say that. Yeah,
John,
it's Joe Burrow. He's not out there by himself. He's calling the plays. Everybody
Did
talks
you
about
see
how bad his
okay,
play calling
Joe-
is. He called the
no.
plays to get them back from the deficit.
No. He made some incredible throws in the fourth quarter and overtime. I'm talking about MVP throws.
Fine.
He was running around. Look at that touchdown, the second touchdown, John, to Chase.
Mm-hmm.
That has zero to do with coaching. I mean, Chase didn't even know he was throwing the ball to the right before the ball got
You're talking about
there.
the first one. You're talking about the first one.
Whatever. Yeah. I mean, nobody knew what he was doing. Jamar Chase didn't know what he was doing.
It
Has
wasn't
nothing
just
to do with
about
coaching.
that throw. They were
It was
in the game.
100% Joe Burrow.
Listen. The old Bengals, you guys forget. I mean, the old Bengals, they had, I would say Marvin Lewis was brilliant. Probably one of the smartest coaches we've ever had, a defensive genius. But you will agree, and I will agree, that they never would have come back from that deficit. And you could say Dalton, fine.
Yes.
But the team doesn't ever lose hope. That's the coach. The
That's
team
the
keeps trying. That's the coach.
Everybody
the
says
defense
it's the
doesn't
Burrow
give it.
factor.
Well, maybe it is the Burrow factor. But, there's a lot of... And, there's the other thing. What about bringing Jamar Chase on when everyone was talking about the Sewell and Jamar Chase debate? That's Zach. What about the fact that this team still feels like a winning team, even though they've actually lost a lot of games recently? That's
I don't
Zach.
think we know who made the final call on Chase, but I doubt it was Zach who had. It doesn't matter. The point is,
You got to give Zach credit where credit is due. And you know what? I see a team that honestly falls apart because of these simple mistakes.
Look,
drops.
we're talking about,
and that's
we're
way
talking
more
about the
important.
cracking under pressure. We're specifically talking about the overtime. Joe Burrow
That's
threw
one
two
call.
passes for like 50 yards, right, John? And then they're on the 26-yard line. And if we had the Aaron Rodgers, if we had Drew Brees, I mean,
Okay, set it up first. So no, you have to tell the whole story. What down is it, and how many yards are
It's
left?
first down and they're on the 26-yard line, John?
Yes.
Something like that. And look, I'm all for mixing things up. I understand that Joe Burrow was getting hit a lot by Nick Bosa, and they were worried about that, and that was realized on third down. I get all that. And I'm not trying to sack Zach or crack his back or anything like that. But I would just say this.
And go back.
That's a good one. Courtney, can we get that for the next time? Should Zach pack his bags?
And go back.
And go back to... is there any city that... We'll get to that later. But the thing is, what I'm saying is, they ran on first. They were averaging, 2.8 yards a carry, 3 yards a carry, something like that. It was not working, the run game. And then they ran on second. And then they set up, 3rd and 3. You say, okay, easy to get, but come on. And then, so the thing is, everybody's like, the thing is like, you can get the 3rd and 3, but you have 3 chances for Joe Burrow, who was on fire, who was throwing these 25-yard strikes. He threw like 4 20-yard completions, and let him attack. That's a good one. Why won't Zach attack? Courtney, let's save that one too.
Yeah.
But my point is, and I think people's point is, why didn't we stay aggressive?
Maybe he needed the
most
snack.
critical time. There we go. Wow.
Wait, no, hold on. Wait. No, finish the story. So now
the story is, so we run on first. We run on second.
First. We're on second.
Get 3rd and 3.
3rd and 3.
Burrow gets sacked. And that ends the touchdown ambition.
Right.
Yeah.
And if, by the way, they kick that field goal and got it, and then they give the team, because you're really banking on your defense being able to stop them. And that's what Zach thinks, that he thinks they're in a position where they can stop them. And I think he had good reason to think that. Then if you stop them, guess what? Everybody thinks you did the right thing by kicking the field goal. Hindsight is 2020, Daddy-o.
But that's the problem with these things, because it's entirely results based. We only have these discussions based off of what actually happens.
Exactly.
We don't focus on the process. I want to be clear. Like, I'm not absolving Zach of any blame here. I think that is the biggest error of his entire game, was running on 1st and 2nd down with how Burrow was playing at that point. But people want to just always blame play calling with him, but they don't realize that play calling is also a reflection of what is actually happening in the game. The offensive line played probably its worst game of the entire season, which is why it was probably Joe Burrow's best game of his entire career, because he was making all these plays and throws despite a terrible pass-protecting offensive line in front of him. And I understand in some ways that they didn't want to put Burrow into too many obvious passing situations right there, but people want to focus on those last 2 plays because it could have been a great chapter in the Joe Burrow story to come back in the 4th quarter with 2 touchdowns to Jamar Chase, and the fact that the ball was taken out of his hands there, they immediately pinned that on Zach, because it was something that ruined the game and it ruined the story of Joe Burrow, when in reality, it's not just Zach Taylor that lost in this game. It's the bunch of mistakes that even got him in the deficit first. We need to have that nuance with this conversation. It's not just on Zach Taylor.
Yeah, I think you said they pinned it on his back. You could say they tacked. They
tacked it on his
Zach.
back.
Yeah. Good job. Good work, John.
Making many to think that he should pack his snack and go back.
Let us go to Bengals.
To the land of hacky sack, which is LA. Okay.
Preview. And, seasons fleetings.
What does this mean, seance fleetings?
Seasons fleetings. And it is referring to the idea that the season is up in the air. If we make the postseason or not, we have to buckle down. And John, what would you say? I mean, everybody says we got to win 3 or 4, but with the way the AFC is playing out, I mean, we might have to just win 2. Who knows, right? I mean, to make the playoffs with how
you
much
don't want to
of a
be a
mess the
wild
AFC.
card. I mean, it'd be better if they were not.
We're going to be a wild card. I mean, I don't know. I guess
That's
maybe
not true.
Baltimore.
They could be number 1. They could be number 1 in the AFC if things go right.
They are most likely to be a division winner than to be a wild card at this point.
That's
because
true.
of how terrible the AFC North is. So if they only win 2 of the next 4, and those 2 wins are against Baltimore and Cleveland, there is a conceivable path that they're the 4th seed and win the division.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
But they're probably going to win 3.
You think they're going to win 3? Wow.
They probably have to win 3.
Oh, they have to win 3. But here's the thing. Let's be honest. If you clean up the drop balls, if you just clean up the drop balls and the interception problem, we all forgot about. We all are such big Burrow fans, and I'm one of them. We forgot about the interception problem. But if you clean those things up, Bengals would have won Bengals would have won every game so far that we've been seeing in the past like 4 or 5 weeks. That was it.
It's hard to do that because
Yeah.
like, I was confident in this team beating the 49ers because I thought that they were going to be able to pass the ball well, which they ended up doing, and I thought that Jimmy G was not going to play that well, which he didn't really play that well. And because those two things happened the way that we thought they were going to happen, they probably should have won this game. And then other things happened that we didn't take into account for, the 4 muff kicks and the dropped interceptions. Like, it's never just one thing that this team has to overcome. It almost changes on a week-to-week basis, which is why we can't really trust them to just fix one thing and expect all the problems to be solved.
I mean, John, I would say this. The one thing I would say is concentration. I would say that is the thing, is their concentration is off. It seems like
over-concentrate too.
Yeah, but what I mean is, John, is like if you look at young athletes, let's say in the NBA, right? It's like they try to attack the basket, but their feet are going faster than their minds can work, right?
I don't think that's true.
I think so. But what I mean is, John, that's kind of this Bengals team. Is like they see the vision, they see the future, and they're trying to make it happen right away. They want those 41-10 blowouts every week.
Yeah.
You know, and they're thinking about it every play because they know they're capable of it.
I agree with that.
This is probably his best analysis all season.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just, yeah.
It took a while to get there, but once he got there, we're all there with him.
Because we're getting closer to promotions, I got really excited.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's, it's funny. That's when the drugs start to kick in, when he starts doing the promotions.
Yeah.
John, and they say what is it, Adderall? They don't know really what it is. That
Adderall, you have to sniff it. It doesn't work if you don't sniff it.
No one really knows what Daddy was doing or what he's
on. You get a little sniffles. It's frustrating sometimes. But believe me, it works. Look, John, along the lines.
No cushionberry for error.
John, that was John's idea to talk about cushionberry, which is a rare kind of fruit that is found in Louisiana, John. Is that correct? And it is one of Burrow's favorite fruits. Go ahead.
Yeah, he was. So that was Joe Burrow's center at LSU. He was drafted, I think, in the 3rd round by the Broncos in 2020, and he is in the middle of a very solid interior offensive line for the Broncos. They have Dalton Reisner on one end, who the Bengals were probably going to draft back in 2019, and Quinn Miners, who has the biggest belly of any offensive lineman in the NFL. They make up a great interior. Honestly, if there's an NFL player that looks like a Hoji, it's probably Quinn Miners. Probably one of the best interior trio of offensive linemen in the game right now, and they are blocking for a rookie running back in Javonte Williams. The Broncos' offense is weird because they have these talented receivers and a talented running back and a pretty solid offensive line, and they have a quarterback in Teddy Bridgewater who's a lot kind of like Jimmy Garoppolo, where he makes some good throws, but most of the time it's just not really enough to make you a serious team. So I think a lot of this game comes down to the Bengals have a decent run defense, but they're going up against one of the better interior offensive lines in the game, a running back that makes a lot of guys miss. I think if the Broncos end up taking advantage of some mistakes that we have to account that the Bengals are going to make in this game, it could just be them controlling the clock with their running game and their running back and their offensive line. Can the Bengals' interior defensive line and DJ Reader, BJ Hill, Josh Tupou, Larry Ogunjobi, can they withstand the power and the athleticism of that interior offensive line and stop Javonte Williams as much as they can? Because if not, I don't know how this game is going to go.
John.
Well, I think it's going to matter. I think it's going to matter who's healthy too. Do we know who's healthy and who's not healthy? So Reader's back. That's good.
I think everyone is healthy on the defensive line, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
John, but here's the thing.
You got to be careful with big-bellied people. I call my big belly a chi generator.
It's intimidating.
There's a lot of power that comes from the belly. People don't understand that. I got a fire in my belly sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, Domata Peko, really, I mean, he had a lot of success in Cincinnati. And I remember seeing his breakfast, and I would say it was a decent amount of meat, not as much as I would have liked, but he did eat a good amount of meat, which I think, by the way, is the key to success and happiness.
I disagree.
Yes. But I would say
the animals you eat would disagree too.
I don't think they can anymore. But I would say this, John. The thing about this game is, if the Bengals can put up those points early and get in the shootouts, I don't think the Broncos have a chance.
I don't know.
And the thing is, you talked about their secondary. not being the greatest, right?
Their defensive
And-
line not being the greatest. Secondary is
Yeah.
decent.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, look, with the way Joe Burrow is playing right now,
Well,
they
the
can
way Joe
settle
Burrow's
down-
playing, the way T. Higgins is playing, the way Jamar Chase is playing, the way
yeah.
I mean, this is amazing.
And by the way, I think Tyler Boyd hasn't even. I think, and he is such a humble guy, but a hardworking guy. I think he's going to have like maybe the last third of the season will be his. It was Jamar Chase's season, and then
Yeah.
T Higgins, and I think Boyd is going to go off in his own way, which means making really critical plays. And the thing is, look, Joe Burrow is coming off of a game where he was on fire. His passes, John, the accuracy. Considering, did you see he was getting hit on I think
Yeah.
3 or 4 of those
Okay.
really big plays? His arm was getting hit,
Right.
and he was throwing as well as Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, anybody in the league. That is the kind of accuracy, and they were down the field throws.
I think it
And-
was his
and-
best game of all time. or at
I
least
think
in the
he
NFL.
It was
he had
amazing.
like he probably had 3 or 4 of his top 10 throws in that game.
Yeah.
You know,
And I'm with you guys, and I want
what I'm saying is,
also
no, let me
make
just
a-
finish. What I'm just saying is that coming off of that game, I think that the coaching and Burrow, they're going to be like, okay, we got to let Burrow do his thing. We're going to unleash him this game.
They've always
That's what
let
I
Burrow
think.
do his thing.
Especially in
They've
that
always unleashed him.
Denver air. You know, in that air, Denver air, by the way, you have to be careful what you eat because any sort of gas, it just spreads like nothing. It just,
all of your
all of a sudden-
experiences about other cities have to do with your digestive problems and your gas. And then you tell me meat is good. Why don't you try eating a salad so you can
Well,
have
it's
a
one-
bowel
actually,
movement?
our ancestors
healthy
used it
bowel
as a
movement.
defense
You're not-
mechanism. A salad, it attacks you. The salad, you are the one
That's
with
not
the
true.
mess
That's
on
not
your
true. I just
hands.
want to say one thing. I also want to praise the man that we are lucky to have, which is Joe Burrow. I think he is the team, 100%. But it takes 2 to tango. And yes, those passes were accurate. But wow, let's give it up to the receivers too. I mean, when Jamar Chase, did you guys see the one catch where Jamar Chase is like walking a tightrope in the end zone?
Yeah.
And he's so careful. His feet don't go out and he catches. I was like, man, we are the luckiest guys to have this quarterback and these receivers.
Yeah.
It really is amazing.
I mean, our skills players are second to none. I mean, Joe Mixon, even in terms of talent. If we had the top 5 or 10 offensive line, I don't think there's any doubt Joe Mixon would lead the league in rushing. In my mind,
And I
mean,
agree.
He's second right now, so
he's second right now.
He's
But I
amazing.
mean, even if Derrick Henry was healthy, I think Mixon could give him a run for the money if we had the top offensive line. That is how talented he is. He's not as good as Derrick Henry. I'm not saying that, but he's up there. You know.
He is up there. And, people doubted him a lot and people said they paid him too much money and he's proving all of them wrong. But he had some tweet today about a laboratory, which I did not understand. He said, I'm at the laboratory. Now, I don't know if he's going into science or what, or he had some sort of COVID kind of scare, but it made me worry a little bit. I don't know if you guys saw that tweet.
I did not. John, what does that mean?
he's in the lab. Who knows what he's doing?
Okay.
Maybe they're improving
Well-
him using cryogenics or biogenics, or I don't know. Maybe he's going to be bionic Mixon.
Maybe. I mean, there are a lot of. Yeah, thank you, Courtney. Well, let's move on to the predictions
Yeah,
and how much the Bengals will win by.
right.
John, take it away.
Oh boy.
Poor John. He hates this game.
Here's the game.
No, man, they don't do well in Denver. Honestly, like
Well, McCarron, remember McCarron ripping it up in the.
they lost that game.
Yeah, but he
They
was
lost
really
that
good.
It was
overtime.
close.
That's when I became a fan.
I think the Broncos are slightly better than a lot of people give them credit for. They have a lot of similarities to the Bengals as well. It's weird though. Like this Bengals season has proceeded with 2 straight wins, 2 straight losses, 2 straight wins. Now they're on 2 straight losses. They haven't lost 3 in a row since I guess last year. It would make sense for them to bounce back here, and I think there's logic in kind of waking up, realizing that the best thing for this offense right now is to unleash Joe Burrow. And I think the offensive line has a great opportunity to bounce back against a Broncos defensive line that has lost its luster compared to recent years. I think that they're going to be okay offensively. I think they're going to be fine against Teddy Bridgewater. But at this point, man, anything can go wrong with this team. Everyone is capable of making bonehead mistakes and just costing points. And I don't know what that's going to be this week, but I have to assume it's going to happen until it doesn't, until they play another clean game. So I'm going to say, for the sake of the Bengals potentially winning, that they lose closely in this one, maybe like 23-21.
Wow.
So I'll go
Hold on.
next.
What is John's player of the game?
Who's the player of the game, John?
In a
That sounds like
loss?
Burrow. Sounds like Burrow.
I don't know. Let's go with let's go with Sam Hubbard.
All
I
right.
like it. I like
Why
it.
not?
Even though
By the
he's
way, do you
wearing red, I'm glad that he didn't choose communism today. Go ahead, OG, please.
By the way, did you guys see the news about AJ Green doing so well recently?
Oh yeah, he was fantastic.
Yeah. So here's my thing. You talk about crisp air, mountain air, mile high stadium. What happens when the air is thin? The ball travels better. Who does that
A
help?
lot of things travel better, but yes.
Well, let's not get into your So the kicker, if as long as it's not windy, benefits from that. So I do think this is going to be the game where the 70-yard kick happens.
Wow.
I know it's going to happen. I saw it very clearly in a dream this summer. I saw it very clearly.
You're right. I mean, Jason Elam set his record in Denver. He played for Denver, but he
Yep.
also set it in Denver.
It's happening. But I don't think it's going to be a close game. I think the kick is going to happen, but it's not going to be a tiebreaker. I think the Bengals will dominate. They will dominate because honestly, every team that has played them recently, especially in the past two losses, has been playing a team that, as John said, is making kind of stupid mistakes. That stupid mistakes will have to end. It's a maturation process. Now, when will they end? I think they're going to end this week. And I think you got a healthy defense on the Bengals part, and they're playing an offense that isn't great. So I think you're going to shut them down. I see like a high score. I see the Bengals going maybe in the 30s and the Broncos maybe in the 10s. And player of the game, Joe Burrow.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I do see the Bengals, bouncing back big time, John.
Oh, yeah.
I really do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going 35
Oh, yeah.
to 20. I think the Bengals are going to handle this one easily. And I do think the player of the game will be Joe Burrow.
Oh,
I think they're going to, let it rip finally. And so I'm very much looking forward to this game. I'm also
Eat
very much looking
less
forward to
cheese.
right.
And then you won't have farts on your mind all the time.
Thank you. So let us go to promotion. And this is where you can go to, obviously, to sign up for Bengals Picks. And you can make all sorts of picks, like, what will the Bengals have for lunch? And what kind of effect will the air have on them?
No, it's not those kinds of picks.
But no, there's a lot of things like how many interceptions will the
There you
Bengals
go.
have?
There
How
you
many yards will, this receiver, that receiver have, and so
Right.
forth. It is a lot of fun. And it is free to play, and you can win jerseys, and you can win merch. And
Merch.
also, I want everybody to go, and you can join to become a member of our Google. Yes, there you go. There's Bengals Picks. Thank you, Courtney. And it does, I guess the 18 plus means it has some inappropriate content, maybe some glamour shots, some different pictures of the Bengals and compromising situations. I don't know why it is 18 plus, but that must be a perk for some people. John, I don't know. No, but it is not, it's not gambling. It is free. So I guess the 18 plus is maybe, I don't know. It is very difficult questions, like the
But
interception.
no one asked you that. I mean, no one asked why it was 18 plus. You kind
No
of
one
dug
asked you
your
to
own.
talk about farts
You
either.
got
I think that's
you
what
dug
18
your own
plus comes
grave
in.
there. You say, well, I don't know. Why is it called picks? Let me think. And then you start thinking out loud on the show. I mean, before the show, work
Yeah.
this stuff out. So you don't like on the show, like, I wonder why it's 18 plus. Well, who cares?
Really? I just look. Courtney put the graphic up. I don't know where she got it from, and I don't know what she's
You
trying
sent
to
it.
promote, and I don't know what stake she has in it. But I was reading what was in front of me.
The conspiracy
And-
goes to the top, all the way up to Courtney.
No. Courtney is the CEO of Brinks.tv, so you definitely want to go there. By the way, go to Brinks.tv and watch the show. Well, it's almost
Watch
over
our
now,
show. Yeah.
but you should have done that.
But doesn't it just keep looping?
It does. Courtney, how many times a day do you show our show? Oh, she's playing the music.
That's her
She
way
wants
of saying
to stop
bye.
talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
her-
look.
There you go.
But
got the
yes,
groove.
but give us money. There's so many. I forgot the different ways. John, how can they give us money? Go to
You can join us
Patreon.
at, Patreon. You can join us on YouTube under the subscribe button. Yeah.
And
that way.
subscribe, 5-star review everywhere, every place. That is all we have
Wait 1 second.
for John Sheeran.
Put
And
in the
Abdul
comments.
Smudgy.
Put in the comments. Is Zach Taylor to blame? Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's the music again. So yeah, is Zach Taylor to blame? And also, if you sign up for the application, Bengals Picks, let us know, and we will. I don't know. We will talk about your picks, or if you won, if anybody wins, we can share our stories. That is all we have. We will see you next time. So long, SVT. Peace.